democracy in South Africa.
Our reform of the education system has been notable. There is now almost universal school enrollment of children aged 7 to 15. There are now more than 800,000 learners below the age of 6 in grade R, and many more keep getting into our ECDs. The matric pass rate has increased from 58% in 1994 to 78% in 2018. We have almost doubled the number of special schools for children with disabilities and special needs. Total university enrollment has also doubled and now stands at over 1 million. In 1994, this figure was around 300,000, and most of those who were in those universities were exclusively just from one racial group. Today, well over 1 million young South Africans are in our tertiary university institutions.
Well, our reporter Abongile Dumako is attending this launch. Let's cross to him now for an update. Abongile, thanks so very much for joining us. A big day in terms of looking back at 25 years of democracy. How's it been going?
Good afternoon to you. It's been a busy day for the country's president, Cyril Ramaphosa. He spent a better part of the day here in Mpumalanga. Of course, we all know that he launched that High Court of the province a few hours ago. Now he's here at the University of Mpumalanga to actually launch again this 25-year review report. We've heard on that insert that you've just played, that acknowledging some of the shortfalls, some of the successes that South Africa has seen since the dawn of democracy. A lot, he says, still needs to be done, especially when you look at the economic front, where there's still a lack of black representation in many companies across the country, especially at the director level, saying that he's going to push for that to make it a point that at least there's that full access to the economy as far as the black majority of citizens of the country is concerned. But one of the main men behind this report, of course, is Jackson Mthembu. He is the minister in the presidency. He joins me now. Minister, good afternoon, and thank you so much for your time. Here we are launching this report. It's been 25 years. One can't help but ask, what have we done right thus far?
One thing that we should all be proud of, if the government of the Republic did not have a social protection policy where people are able to live even though they are not working, social grants, and the possibility of anybody who's a child going to school without the parents being burdened by paying school fees. If we didn't have those policies, we will not be where we are. Today, people are able to live through government social protection, your social grants, you name it, but also people, young children are able to go to school to no-fee schools. That has also been extended to universities. And as we all know, if you want a country to prosper, take care of the youth. So we think that government over the 25 years has taken care of the youth and also the elderly through social grants.
And of course, President Cyril Ramaphosa conceding the fact that economically there's still a lot more that needs to be done, especially when you're talking about the directors, the black directors in a number of organizations or companies in the country. What have we not done right so far?
You'll know that we found an economy that was mainly owned by white people. Not even white people, white males. We have not been able to change the ownership of the economy. At the moment, the ownership of the economy still resides with those who were previously advantaged. So there's still a long way to go to ensure that we change the ownership of the economy, so that in that ownership of the economy, ownership of industry, the various sectors of the economy, manufacturing, agriculture, tourism, we must have black people also owning. Yes, we have black ownership, but it is not at the level where all of us can be proud of. We must also ensure that there is women ownership of the economy, because as we all know, women comprise 52% of the population of the country, and yet when it comes to ownership of the productive assets in the economy, women only account to about 20%. So there is still a lot that we need to do, but as you also know, as a country we are standing now at 29% of unemployment for young people. Even the economic growth in our country is standing at around 0.8%. That's why we welcome the investments worth 363 billion that the president has been able to attract this week alone, because that will go a long way in addressing unemployment and the economic growth of our country. But also, as you will know, the president last year attracted 300 billion rands worth of investment into the economy. So we can all of us see that, yes, whilst we have these economic challenges, but we have got a president and a government that is able to show that this is what we are doing to improve the performance of our economy.
Okay, we've seen now President Cyril Ramaphosa, of course, handing that very report to the Professor Mayegiso, who happens to be the Vice Chancellor of the Mpumalanga University. Fellow South Africans, I'm sure they are keen to have a glance of what's contained on that report. Where can we access it?
The report can be accessed through the GCIS website or also through the Presidency website. So it's available. But also you can go to my office, come to my office tomorrow. You can get the report or a 25-year review, a hard copy. You can go to the offices, our provincial offices. They will also have the office of the Premier here. In Mpumalanga will also have a hard copies of the 25-year review. Similarly, all offices of premiers in all provinces, they'll have hard copies of the 25-year review. But as we have also said, the 25-year review says, what are these good things we have done? It's not a propaganda document. It's a document that says, yes, when it comes to social wage and social protection, as a country we have done very, very good. In fact, there are many other countries who envy what we have done to keep poverty away from many families. But where we have not done well is when it comes to economic activities, ensuring that black people are full participants in the ownership of the productive sector. And that's what the president said. This is the challenge we are prepared to face head on, to ensure that black people, African people, have ownership of the productive assets and industries in South Africa. That is the challenge that we need to deal with, and that is reflected in the 25-year review.
Finally, Minister, I heard you sort of alluding to the fact that the former minister of the very portfolio holding now, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, had a big role to play as well in compiling this report. What are some of the aspects that you sort of looked at in as far as compiling this report? I also understand that there were some stakeholder meetings that are taking place in the country.
Definitely. In fact, you'll know that Minister Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma was the minister responsible for the Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation last year in 2018. So she headed that portfolio. Is that department that has produced this document, the 25-year review. And they started producing this document last year around May or so. So when I came in, when she handed over to me this year around June, July, this document was already ready. So she played a prominent role in getting contributions to this document from all line departments at national level. But she also galvanized our premiers, as you will know. The document also has inputs from all our 9 premiers in our provinces and departments, provincial departments in our provinces. But apart from that, we also had people who are professionals, research institutions, academia, who also were party to the colloquia that were held to strengthen our 25-year review document. Even people from outside of the country, international guests that participated in symposiums and colloquia that produced this document. We would like to thank her dearly, Minister Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, for having been the political leader that ensured that today we have a 25-year review that openly says what are these good things we have done in the 25 years and what are these bad things that we have done and where can we improve. But this is not only a government document, it's a document from all of South Africans, because the symposium and the colloquiums were attended by professionals, by academia, and thanks to Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma.
Jackson Mthembu is the Minister and the Presidency. Well, Peter Ndoro, there you have it. Jackson Mthembu, they confident as usual when he talks to us as the media. He says behind the scenes to me that I can ask him anything and anything at all. He's up for that one. Well, we've heard him from himself saying that it took a lot of effort from the government and its stakeholders throughout the country under the stewardship of Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, the former minister in the presidency, for us to be actually launching this 25-year review report that was actually handed over to this university by President Cyril Ramaphosa. Let me say it's back to you in studio now, Peter, in Auckland Park.
Abongile, thanks very much indeed. That's Abongile Dumako, who's in Mpumalanga. And we stay in the province because President Cyril Ramaphosa also today says that government has reformed the justice system after people were forced to travel distances to access the justice system. He was speaking at the official opening of a high court in Mbombela. Before the launch, Mpumalanga was the only province without a high court.
It's a day for celebration for the people of Mpumalanga as we officially open the first provincial high court right here in Mbombela. JP Luhodi, as we were going around, was in his usual jovial mood, and he was saying it's wonderful to be the last born. Because when you are the last born, you get the best of everything. And indeed, he's got the best of everything. And acting Deputy Chief Justice Mthembu was very envious as we were going through this court. And in some aspects, he kept saying, this is better than my court. It's better than the Constitutional Court, the highest court in the land. And indeed, when you are the last born, you get the best toys, you get the best of everything. You get the best of modern technology that your parents can afford. And this is what's happening. But JP, this is not the last iconic building we're going to put up here in Mpumalanga. More is coming to this province. In many ways, this court represents a new era for the citizens and the people of this province, who have in the past had to travel long distances and difficult terrains to get access to justice.
ESCOM